Good morning. It's Friday again and I have another food for thought for you. I want to talk about being a peculiar people. Well, if you're peculiar, by definition, you must be in the minority. The majority can never be peculiar. It's just the way it is. Let me give you an example. When I was young, we used to call homosexuals queers. They were strange, they were odd, they were in the minority. But things have changed, and now, if you keep to the old morality like I do, then you're almost classed as strange and peculiar, and you're in the minority. You're not normal, you're peculiar because you won't adhere to the new morality. So that's an illustration just to show that if you're peculiar, you have to be in a minority. And God made Israel different for a reason. He didn't want them to be a majority. He didn't tell them to Judaize the world. He gave them a small plot of land the size of Uganda or Wales. And he didn't say conquer the other nations. It was only those Hivites, Jebusites, and all those 7 nations that were to conquer just in the land of Canaan. He wanted them to be a small minority, peculiar people, so all the world would know that they were gods. So he instituted circumcision and strange dietary laws and ordinances, so that they would be different, peculiar. Let me read it, Deuteronomy 14:2. For you are a holy people unto the Lord your God, and the Lord has chosen you to be a peculiar people unto himself above all nations that are on the earth. And he says the same later in chapter 26, verse 18. And the Lord has avouched you this day to be his peculiar people, as he has promised you, that you should keep all his commandments. Well, that's the old covenant, but the interesting thing is that Peter quotes from the Old Testament these scriptures and applies it to the church, so it's no different now. We're never meant to be in the majority. We've always got to be a peculiar people and show forth the praises of God to a dark world. We're the light in the darkness. 1 Peter 2:9. But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that you should show forth the praises of him who's called you out of darkness into his marvellous light. The church, its Catholic theology, wants to take over the world. They called Europe Christendom in the early days before Charlemagne changed it to Europe, meaning the kingdom of Christ, Christendom. And they want to Christianize the whole world. And most evangelicals want to win the whole world for Jesus. But that's changing the mandate. The mandate is to preach to the whole world, not to save the whole world. Those that we believe will be saved. Those that believe not will be damned. So it's not our prerogative to save them. We've got to be a peculiar people. Well, Paul says the same, Titus 2:14. Who gave himself for us, that he might redeem us from this iniquity, and purify unto himself a peculiar people, zealous of good works. So, are you peculiar? If you are, we should love our enemies. We're not of this world. We should turn the other cheek, go the extra mile, not defend ourselves. We should be circumcised in heart, not in the foreskin. We should serve a different God than the world's gods. But most Christians I know, it seems to me, are no different than the world in the lifestyle. They just belong to a different club. They're saved, they've accepted salvation by faith, but they're not living as pilgrims and strangers. They're not peculiar. They trust the world for the finances, for the medicine, for the legal services, for the insurance. They trust the world, don't trust God. They go to the same venues of entertainment and films and live for themselves like all moral non-Christians do. They're not living as pilgrims and strangers. Well, I want to challenge you. Think about your own lifestyle. Maybe you are living differently than the world, I don't know. But think about your own lifestyle and have a blessed day. But be different, for God's sake, be different in this world. And keep thinking.